If there's one thing I love about the Pokemon TCG, it's the aesthetic. And that awesome art all started in base set, the first Pokemon set ever. Whether you knew it or not, many of your favorite cards, or at least some that you may remember, stem from a set that oddly, for some reason, featured a seemingly random selection of the original 151. There's 102 cards, with 69 of them, nice, being Pokemon. You do get some full evolutionary lines here, the 3 starters, Beedrill, Poliwrath, Nidoking, Alakazam, and Machamp. But others like Gengar, Butterfree, and Dragonite are not so lucky. So let's focus on what the set does have, and that is 102 absolutely beautiful cards drawn up by a group of talented artists. Firstly, we have the OG artist himself, Ken Sugimori. These cards are his original Pokemon art, slapped on random wallpapers. It gave this surreal vibe to them, almost as if something was wrong. Like, why is Dratini sitting in this realistic field with a filter placed on top? It's so blue and barren and just makes me feel sad. Same deal with Pidgey, with the background feeling out of place. Like they couldn't have used a forest or something more thematic. Then you have some where the background is minimal. One such example is Voltorb, where there is a lack of textures, save for this cool neon sign which just perfectly fits Voltorb's body and its electrical currents. I suppose they needed something back there. Vulpix is also mostly just a black background except for a few lens flares, because who wouldn't want to take pictures of this cute little fox? That or Vulpix is about to be hit by oncoming traffic. Others have a holographic purgatory such as Alakazam, Chansey, and Ninetales. It's like wizards close their eyes and pick the background depending on the first thing they saw. But what I enjoy even more than the emotionally empty voids are the new art specifically drawn for the TCG. Like, sure, Machamp looks cool, but Machop is better just by the art alone. Standing on top of the world, holding the meteor that killed the freaking dinosaurs. Then you got Magikarp, which looks like it's drowning. I'll take whatever Electrode is on. Look at those colors, so vibrant. Of course, Charmander is a classic, with the lizard Pokemon looking back at that little fire it accidentally started. You know, I've never noticed that forest fire in the background. I wonder if Charmander knew what it was doing. Does it perhaps hear the screams from that far away? Or does Charmander prefer to ignore their cries? Matsuhiro Arita, you sick, sick man. While not as abundant as other sets, 3D technology has been a staple in Pokemon art since the beginning. Fear from the sight of Clefairy by Keiji Kinabuchi. Behold the polygonal landscape of Porygon. Magnemite, drink it in, man! I think it's awesome that Wizards decided to broaden their artistic capabilities and do more than 2D designs. I can imagine it would get rather boring had every Pokemon card simply been the Sugimori art. The 3D art certainly shakes things up and is honestly surprising they pushed this style out in the premiere set. All of this extends to the trainer cards like the Clefairy. Items are a more tricky situation in the Pokemon since items are more general cards, right? Like, would you imagine a Devolution spray to look like this? Or energy retrieval looking like a Pink Floyd album. Energy removal looks like the inside of a Magic 8 Ball, and super energy removal turns up the dial to lava lamp energy. I remember looking at Pokemon Center and thinking how cool it looks. Then you got Bill, which is the Sugimori art. If Bill got his mugshot in the back of a police station. And Professor Oak here, wait, who the hell is that? The last element of base sets, and arguably the most important facet, are the energy cards. Being the first set, Wizards really had to nail the aesthetic of the game's resource system. And considering the energy cards have rarely changed, I think they did a pretty dang good job. They use very simple thematic icons with bright and bold colors to ensure everyone knows what these cards are. Even the double colorless energy is easy to read, including a nice rainbow gradient in the background that I've never noticed until now. I wonder why they decided not to make a singular colorless energy. Well, I'm not complaining. In terms of what my favorite cards in base set are, that's a tough question. There's a lot to pick from. However, if I had to choose a single favorite, I would lean towards this card. I find base set Dragonair absolutely beautiful. Drawn by Mitsuhiro Arita, this dragon Pokemon is swimming in a crystalline lake. You have this beautiful night sky with Aurora Borealis up above, insert Seamham's joke here, and look at those mountains with the clouds seemingly swirling around them. It's arguably the prettiest card of the set, if not for Chansey having that nice, thick hollow foil. From Pikachu to Mewtwo to Charizard, there's a lot to enjoy about base set. It did a great job creating the first meta for the Pokemon TCG. Many decks would arise during this era, such as Haymaker, Rain Dance, and Damage Swap, with less great but solid nonetheless decks like Venus Center, Buzzap, Polygong, and Chansey Stall, not even forgetting all the other strategies you could build off of. This isn't a history of or meta overview video, but it's at least important to mention certain competitive elements of base sets like the decks and top cards, and if you want to see those other videos, definitely let me know. After all, a large chunk of cards that would define the base fossil format would begin here. But what do you all think? Is base set a solid set? What's your favorite card art from this pack? Make sure to subscribe to the Janjo region for more Pokemon TCG videos, because base set is certainly not the end of things here.